Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We just finished the month of June, which is the month of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. And this month, July, we are going to be talking about a few select saints and how the Word of God got from being spread in little tiny Jerusalem to the entire world.
That's right.
So, this week, we are going to be talking about two apostles, Saint Peter and Saint Paul. I thought we already talked about these guys.
Yes, we did. We did talk about Peter and we did talk about Paul, but when we did that, we talked about St. Peter when we celebrated the chair of St. Peter, and we talked about Paul when we celebrated the conversion of St. Paul. So we talked this week, we're going to look at St. Peter and Paul because of what they actually did for what we know about the church. And we actually refer to them as the legs of the church.
But what does that even mean?
Well, if you think about it, just look at the altar for a second. The altar, if the altar only had one leg to stand on, or even two legs, it wouldn't stand up. It actually needs four legs in order for it to stand up and not wobble and not fall over. So Peter and Paul, they're like the legs of the altar. So Peter, we remember, is a fisherman, and Jesus called him to come and become fisher of men. He became one of Jesus' best friends, and Jesus actually asked him, when he was about to return home to his Father, to take the keys to the kingdom. So Peter became the very first pope that we had, the very first Holy Father, who continued the tradition of the church that Jesus himself had founded during his time here on earth.
St. Paul, when he converted, became the missionary who was one of the big reasons why Christianity spread as far as it is today. So, he started actually up here in Antioch. He did 4 big trips in his lifetime. He started here preaching the good news, and he went all the way down across here. He came all
the way back up here. He traveled all the way.
And that is the journeys of St. Paul.
So you can see why it's important to know what these two guys did.
Yeah, because we have St. Peter and Paul, each of whom had a really special, but also very different job, and we're very similar to that. We all have our own roles to play, whether it's because we work as a teacher, or because we work in hospitals, or because we work in a kitchen, whatever it is that we're called to do. If we don't do that job, then we become that missing leg. If St. Peter hadn't done his job, then Paul would have went out and talked to a bunch of people, but nothing would have ever gotten settled.
That's right.
But if Peter did his job, Paul didn't do his job, then things would have gotten settled and founded, and no one would have known about it.
Right. So it's kind of like Peter set the table and Paul sent out the invitations.